Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. There's been a little delay in videos, which is actually what I want to talk about today. So, I have been extremely overwhelmed. I thought when you move to a place, the first month would probably be the hardest because you don't know where anything is and it's confusing and blah, blah, blah. I was very wrong. And I don't know if this is fully the move or just the place I am in life, but I think it's important to share, especially from the view as a coach. So sometimes we don't realize what our bad habits are. I think we've all been there. A couple weeks ago, I started feeling a little bit weird and I'm like, something's wrong, everything feels wrong, things aren't working. And I started procrastinating, putting things off. My house was a mess. I was double booking myself, triple booking myself, like putting things in the calendar wrong. And I'm like, this is not who I am anymore. This was who I used to be. But why are all of my bad habits resurfacing? Why do I feel constantly overwhelmed? I just keep putting things to the side. Hence why we missed a video for a week. And I had to sit with myself and I'm like, something is wrong. And when we have these moments, we try and figure out externally what's wrong. Am I in the wrong relationship? Am I in the wrong place? And I think I realized, I'm like, well, I moved to where I felt that I was meant to be. So why, when I'm in the right place, is all this stuff coming up? What is it about you? Like they tell us, oh, like once you live in alignment, things will work out, this will, and I'm like, I moved, I did this, this is my alignment. So what is this? And what I realized was that I was having a lot of feelings that I didn't want to deal with. I didn't want to feel them. Because underneath all of those feelings was one big feeling, and it was grief. I've talked many times about my mom and her passing, and I'm like, it's not just this. Like, sure, there will continue to be grief there. So what I realized with me moving is there's a lot of grief that comes with moving. I went back to where I lived before. I would go back kind of every week, and I started to feel kind of crappy every time I'd go back. And I'm like, I don't think I want to keep coming back here. Like, if I feel like it's like pulling me back to who I used to be. And I think that's what I'm saying is when you're trying to make a really big step forward, when you're trying to become a different version of yourself, old you is going to try and tear you back because old you is comfortable. Old you got you to here. And so your brain says, oh, we know we can survive here. We know we're safe here. Even if it's not happy, we can function here. And so my brain has decided after being here for 2 months that I've settled enough that it's time to take me back to where I'm comfortable. So my house was a mess. My habits went out the window. I was procrastinating. I put things off. I wasn't doing the things that were necessary to keep anything going in my life. And I had to sit myself down. I'm like, okay. And I would say this is something I do often. I sit down with my thoughts a lot. How am I feeling internally? What am I thinking about? And I hadn't been doing that because I didn't want to have to deal with all this grief. And so the last time I went back and visited, me and my girlfriend walked around the small town that I lived in, and people weren't mean, but you could tell they were like slightly uncomfortable seeing us together holding hands. And I was like, I've never noticed this before because the city that I live in, there's so many gay people here that it's like not even a second thought. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I feel kind of uncomfortable when normally I don't feel uncomfortable in this instance. So I realized that, oh, the plan to potentially move back here, that's gone. Which means this move is permanent. I'm not going to move back there. Not just for that reason, but I think it just kind of dawned on me as I've spent more time there that I'm like, I actually don't want to come back to this place. oh wait, I'm not coming back to this place. I now have to grieve the life that I had there, that there is no going back. I've taken a full step forward into what I feel like is meant for me, and I cannot go back. So I'm grieving where I grew up, the place that is considered safe, the place where, I told my friend this recently, that if I go on vacation, I feel like I don't know where I am in the world. I could be anywhere. Like I just like have no awareness of where I am. Like you could show me on a map and I would feel still like I'm just lost in space. But in that area, I know exactly where I am. I can point to it on a map, and I just know and understand it because I grew up there, and like that place is permanently changed for me, and I'm not going back, and I have to grieve that. And I have a lot of friends that are still there, and I have to grieve those friendships because they will never look the same. They can't just call me, and I can't just drive 5 minutes to their house and help them with whatever they need help with. It looks different. I'm building different friendships here. And I do thankfully have support here and people that I know here, but I have to grieve those friendships and the years that we spent together, that it will never be the same again. I still have to grieve that my mom can never be a part of this life. I have to grieve pieces of me that I thought I found or that were meant for me and they're not, or the old version of me I have to grieve. And I didn't really expect that after 2 months of being here. I was like, oh, it was so easy to transition here. But then all of these feelings started coming up of, oh, I need to let go of the old me in order to fully take hold of this life that's new and meant for me. And I'm saying this from the perspective of a coach, of realizing if I don't feel these feelings, I'm never going to be that version. If I don't walk through these things, and realizing, like currently, I just finished with my one coach last week. So when I was here, I had a therapist, 2 coaches, I did Reiki, and I had a nutritionist. I did too much. I thought I was fine, and then I did too much. And realizing that it's so important to work on yourself, but it's also important to be present in your reality. And I think that's what's coming up right now, is like me being present in my reality means I have to grieve to actually be able to be present in this reality, because there's some old stuff that wants me to be comfortable and safe, and it's just holding me back at this point. So 2 things out of this. One is that you don't have to dig up the whole yard at once. My therapist told me that I was trying to fix every little part of my life and make sure it was like good enough so that my life would work out. I had created a system in my brain that if I did all of these things, healed all of these things, that then my life would work out exactly how I wanted. And it was a rude awakening to realize that's not how life works. And so now I've hired all of these people that I will finish my commitments with them and take a friggin' break, because I need a break from trying to fix every little detail of my life in order for it to fall together. That's not really how life works. And one is running from all of these feelings. They will catch up to you, and there's not really any way around it. And the longer you push them down, they're going to come out in all sorts of ways. Your behavior is going to get weird, which is what was happening to me. I was like kind of dazed and like sleepy a lot, and I couldn't really figure out why. It's like, oh, like grief makes you really tired, so you can't focus as well. So I'm trying to have conversations with people, and I'm like kind of like, ugh, like can't pay attention. That makes sense. So as you heal, make sure to check in with yourself and be like, okay, can I take a little breather from this? Do I have to fully immerse myself in trying to fix every detail of myself all at once? No, that's not the right answer. There's too much going on. And so if there is something that you want to change, that you want to fix, focus on that one thing and be present in the rest of your life. It's not about fixing every detail of yourself. It's not about healing every detail of yourself so you're good enough for something or good enough for someone. Like, your whole life will be a journey of healing, and it's important to heal. And I am so glad I've spent the time, hours, money on healing, but I'm starting to realize that I think I might have drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid of self-help being this extreme, constant, all I think about, I have to fix myself, I have to fix myself. I'm fixing myself out of a wound. There's a hurt somewhere that's like, if I'm not healed, then I can't have this or that. And that's kind of what I'm uncovering right now, is realizing like, whoa, this hustle mentality of healing, it stops working after a while. And so what does healing look like now? Well, for me, it looks like being present. I do still read books, have conversations with people, and I have hired people to assist me a little bit, but realizing like, whoa, I need to also like live a normal life. And I don't have to heal everything in this moment in order to have the life that I want, because it's not possible, and it's not healthy, and it's self-critical. So if you're wanting to heal, there is a portion of it that you should be gentle on yourself. Push yourself, but be gentle, and try and toe that line of things. Because you don't have to dig up the whole yard, and your whole life doesn't have to be a mess. And if you have feelings about things, feel the feelings, and it's gonna help. I know a lot of my videos have been like really rambly lately, which I think was kind of a lead up to this, to realizing like, I'm doing too much, there's too much going on. Like I hope to have more succinct videos after this, but I'm trying to bring you along in my journey of moving, being a coach, figuring things out, and hopefully it's helpful to you. But I will see you next week, and thank you for watching.